In this video, I'm going to discuss how we can stretch the inner forearm muscles. The inner forearm is usually used whenever we are doing a flexion of the wrists as and when we do our daily activities. This can range from simple things such as eating or writing, or even for some of us, most of the time will be at the laptop. That will cause a little bit of tightness in the inner side of the forearm. For this stretch, you can do it either in a standing or seated position. Please ensure that my steps are followed as you go on in this stretch. For this stretch, you are going to put your hand with the palm side facing up the ceiling. From here, you are going to use your right hand to hold the knuckle joint of your left hand. Hold it firmly, pressing the arm downwards, exposing the wrist joint a little bit more. Once you have reached this action, you are going to push your left hand straight out, and you should feel a stretch in the inner side of the forearm muscles. Hold this position for 10 to 15 seconds before repeating the process on your right side. You can perform about 3 to 5 sets of this stretch. Another variation that you can choose to do would be to do it on the table desks. This is another variation which I prefer because I can stretch both my forearms at the same time. For this stretch, it's a little bit stronger than when we were to use our hands to push, so please take note of some of the movements that you need to do properly before you carry on with the stretch. For beginners, I would suggest using only the palm surface of your hand to be placed on the table. As you get used to it and you're more familiar, you can move on to encompass the fingers as well, meaning the entire palm root to fingers is on the table itself. When you're ready, what I need you to do is to face the table and then place your palm surface on the table with your fingers pointing towards you. When they are flat against the table, you should be noticing that your elbow is straight, not bent. Elbow is straight, shoulders up, body upright, facing forward, shoulders slightly back. From this position, when you're ready, slowly sit back down with your body leaning back, and you should feel a stretch in the inner side of the forearm. Once you feel the stretch, hold the position for 10 to 15 seconds. Once done, relax. Rest for about 30 seconds before going on to your next set, and you can do about 3 to 5 sets of this stretch. At the beginning of this video, I was mentioning that you can use the entire hand surface on the table itself. This stretch would be a much stronger stretch for your hands. As you can see, it requires a little bit more flexibility for the wrist as well. So when you're doing this stretch, please be careful of your wrist. If you have any wrist pains, please consider doing the palm stretch version instead. If you are doing the full palm version, the full hand version, it's still the same effect, and you should already feel a stretch as your base of your palm touches the table. Same thing, once your body is straight, slowly lean back and you should feel a stretch in the inner side of the forearm. It is important to take note that you should not be jerking back the action of this stretch, as you may accidentally injure the inner side of the forearm muscles. As you do this stretch, it is important that you are simply sinking your weight down as your hands are on the sides of the table in order to feel a stretch on the inner side of your forearm.